This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Cabo Jim Schaller.
Welcome, good neighbors, to episode number 199 of the Good Neighbor Podcast to Sarah. Today we have good neighbor Will Kitchen from the Teen Challenge Fort Myers. Welcome.
Hi, yeah, thanks for having me, Jim. We're excited to be on here with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to get to know people in the community and what they do and share that with our listeners. So why don't you start off by sharing a little bit about what you do over at Teen Challenge Fort Myers?
Yeah, so Teen Challenge exists to put hope within reach of anybody struggling with addictions and life-controlling issues. And we offer life transformation through Christ-centered programs. And so we're a fully residential program. And even though our name is Teen Challenge, we are our local organization here, our local homes are adults. So we're 18 and over here. But we do have teen adolescent programs within our network. Some of those that are here in Florida and in a couple of other states that we're partnered with as well. So we provide full-time care and services for individuals who need them.
Very nice, very nice. And let's talk about your story and back it up a little bit. How did you get involved with all of this?
So I had some issues when I was young. I turned 43 in 2 weeks, but 20 years ago I had some pretty significant issues, some drug issues. Had been arrested for possession. Had been in a pretty significant drunk driving accident with a friend of mine who was driving, and had just a lot of things that within about a year span that happened that really put me in a difficult situation. I almost died from a drug overdose, just a lot of things. And I had opportunities, I was generally good in school up until, in high school when I started having significant issues. I played sports and would have had opportunities to play basketball in college, but I was just too into the wrong thing. And I had an opportunity to get my life turned around. God stepped into my life and intervened and, put me on a path of recovery. And within about a year later, I was enrolled in school again and on my way to, helping people and entering into ministry through the church. And while I was in school, I got to meet the one of the founders and directors of a teen challenge up in New York and Long Island. And so upon graduating, I went up there and did an internship. That was back in 2006, and just really fell in love with the organization and the opportunity to help others with a similar life that I had experienced, and hopefully help people get out of their dark situations. And so I spent a year there in Long Island, and then about 2008, after my wife and I got married, we moved to Brooklyn and served with Teen Challenge in Brooklyn, where it all started, until we moved down here and in 2020. And so we've been down here as the directors of the center here for a little over 4 years. And just enjoying the ride in terms of the journey, but there's so much work to be done down here, and there's so much need and opportunity to help, and so that's what we really strive to do.
Absolutely. And my next question was going to be about challenges, but it seems like you've been through a number of them already. Is there something that maybe, I guess a lot of people that are going through those challenges, is there a way for them to, obviously like you did, turn your life around? Can we walk through that a little bit?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Change in general is a challenge, right? There's just so many of us, we don't like smaller changes in life. We don't like, things popping in on a daily basis that we have to adjust to. And so just the idea of life change is an extremely daunting task, and something that can cause a lot of anxiety and stress. But there absolutely is possibility and opportunity for people to change their lives. And a big piece of that is just overcoming belief and overcoming our own internal challenges of whether we believe that we can, whether we believe that we're worth it, whether we believe that the opportunities presented to us are good enough, or opportunities that will work, whether or not we believe that people are really willing to help us, that we can trust them. And so, one of the biggest challenges for myself and so many others who come into our program is just that, learning to believe, like learning to believe that you do have what it takes, because most people that deal with addiction, they work very hard for that addiction, right? And they overcome challenges on a constant basis to get their drug of choice, or to get whatever it is that they need. And so they absolutely have the ability, they have the resilience to make it happen. It's just a matter of overcoming those mindsets. And so that's a big piece of why a program like ours, or others that are out there, a big piece of what is really needed is helping people to overcome that barrier.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that change comes within, but it's nice to have that support system or guidance from an organization such as yours, to help people through that, to help them realize that they're not alone, that they do have support. We got to work at this together, and there are people out there that can help you.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah, changes within, but the environment absolutely matters, and that it can be a big piece of whether or not we're able to make that internal leap.
Absolutely. So, can we talk about maybe some of the myths or maybe misconceptions surrounding what you do?
Yeah, sure. I think uh, for us, I think there obviously there's a myth around whether or not people can change. Certainly, it can be quite a process, and people don't often get it the very first time around, right? It's a journey that they have to go through, and so that's a big part of it. Sometimes there's struggle believing, just in mental health, how mental health plays a part of it. Some people don't um, think it's as big of a deal or as important as it really is, and so there's sometimes some work to overcome in that. I think in matters of faith, just depending on people's backgrounds, some people think that faith can't be or shouldn't be a part of it, or maybe God isn't helpful in the process. And of course, what our center is built upon, strong belief in Christian values, and so we believe that's a huge part of it. And I think just even in terms of investment, I think addiction is such a big issue, and we see the effects of it on a constant basis. And so even for those that would support or be potential supporters, just overcoming the challenges and beliefs of whether or not it's something worthy to give to, and whether or not people can change their lives. And so I think there's a lot of those things that are mixed into what we do and into an organization like ours.
Absolutely. Now, are you seeing, I don't want to say trends, but things that are different from maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago? Or are they a lot of the same issues, just in a different platform per se?
A little bit of both. Addiction is addiction, and it's been the same, because it's the same processes in our bodies and our mindsets. But the absolutely, society has changed. The type of addict, quote unquote, that we get has changed. The mindsets. The drugs of choice have changed to some degree, and we get a lot different type of individual now than we did, when I started, 18 years ago. We got a lot more, and some of that maybe just even where I was located before, but there was a lot more, what some people might say, like a hardened criminal, back in the day, that were reaching out, or going through the program. And now we just see a lot of individuals who have just grown up and just not really learned how to handle life, right? We see a lot of younger individuals, still living at home, and struggling to get started, struggling to see how their life matters, or what they can do with their life. Everyone to some degree is on a medication now, which didn't used to be the case. Lots of mental health meds. And a lot of people have just been through so many different types of programs, and the system has grown extensively. And so somebody could have been in and out of so many different institutions, so many different programs, jails, and whatever the case may be, that sometimes they can be a little bit jaded towards that, or can have their mind made up about, programs before they even get there. So it is quite a bit different, even though addiction is the same.
Absolutely. So, on a personal level, you mentioned you were from New York originally. What ultimately brought you down to Southwest Florida?
Really, and I grew up in Missouri, but I spent, almost 20, 18, 20 years close to, up there. We were serving with Teen Challenge there, and I had just finished, getting a master's in clinical mental health counseling and had some plans of opening up somewhat of a practice there to provide counseling for, the men in the program and then just anybody else as well. And, we got a call about a month after that that they were looking for a new director down here, and we had some connection with this place here in Fort Myers in the past, 5 or 6 years before, and they had talked to us about potentially coming down and being the directors, and we just didn't feel like it was the right time. And when we got that call the second time, the ministry up in New York was in a kind of a transition, and we just felt like it was the right time to come down. I mean, honestly, in 2020, we were probably one of the only ones of the thousands upon thousands that moved down to Florida at the time that didn't really want to move to Florida and didn't really have that in our plans for life. But we felt like it was the right move, and it was good for our family. And so we accepted the offer and decided to come down.
Perfect, perfect. Now, you mentioned your family. Obviously, that plays a big part of who you are and what you do. And, outside of work, when you do have a moment of free time, spending time with them obviously is important. Are there other things you enjoy doing when you have some downtime?
Oh yeah, I mean, I myself, I still love sports. I play basketball and of course pickleball like everybody else in Florida and all over the world. And just anything, moving that I can. And most of my time right now gets spent. I've got three boys who are all into various different things. One plays football right now. One just finished golf. The other one, he's pretty young, but he just finished flag football at his school, and they're all getting ready to jump into basketball here. And so, yeah, we're constantly running from practice to game and everything in between. So, but it's a great life. That was my life growing up as a kid, and I'm really excited to be able to provide that for my boys as well, and just be a part of their growth and their journey, and hopefully not too often being that dad that's just yelling too much from the sidelines.
Right. We've all been there. We've all been there. I played sports growing up myself, so it's like, just
Yeah,
be quiet, let me do. But then, no, that's great. That's great to get them involved in that and be able to watch them grow through that as well too.
yeah.
So is there one thing you wish our listeners knew about Teen Challenge that maybe they're not aware of?
Oh man, the biggest thing, that we're here, it's always surprising, how many people don't know that we're in the area. We've been here for over 30 years, and so that's a big part of it. But number two is just that, we're here to serve and we're here to help. We partner with a lot of churches and local organizations, and we provide essentially a free opportunity for people to come into the program. And so, if they know someone or they meet somebody or work with somebody or have a family member that's struggling, please absolutely give us a call, because we're willing to work with folks. And we don't have a lot of stipulations that would keep somebody from coming into the program. We just want to get people in, and even if they're not a good fit for us, or that's not the route they want to take, we want to do our best to try to get them connected to somewhere. So we're here, we're ready to serve, and we hope to be able to help out any way that we can.
So how would our listeners go about getting in contact with you if they had some questions, concerned, or wanted to learn more?
Yeah, so you can find us. Our website is teenchallenge.cc, and you can find we're one of the locations that's listed under there in the Southeast region. You could also give us a call, 239-275-1974. And then, of course, we've got, Facebook and Instagram and all of those things that you can find us on as well. But if you connect through the website or give us a call directly, we have all the information there that you could get a hold of us, and we could move forward anyhow we need to.
Great, great. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Thank you for what you do in the community, and I hope to see you out there soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpestero.com. That's gnpestero.com or call 239-296-2621.